Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Danny here. Today I'm going to be doing something pretty cool, something you guys have been asking me to do for a while for my first YouTube video. That's going to be how to do a garden, how to plant a plant. I'm going to be planting at least 1 or 2 plants. I'm going to go through the step-by-step processes, the materials that you need, all that good stuff. Your hands are going to get a little bit dirty, but that's okay. I promise you, it's fine. You're going to be earthing, you're going to have a good time, and you're actually going to learn how to make a garden, one that's going to live and last, especially here in South Texas. I know everyone tells me that they do planting, they try and do gardens, everything dies. Do what I am doing and you will have a garden in no time. So without further ado, here we go. Now I've already started by laying out the gardening fabric, which you can see, and the mulch, but I'm going to teach you about how to do the digging, the cutting, the planting, the soil amending, and the watering. So we can see here that our plants are a little bit dry. They're wilted a bit. Cool, no problem. So now I'm just going to water the plants. Now that you already have your hose set, you just want to water them. Make sure the roots are kind of wet. The soil will be more moist. It makes it easier on the plant during the planting process. It takes some of the stress away, and especially on the roots, because the roots will be a little bit moved. They'll be a little stressed out when you're moving them, but this is going to help with all of that. The materials that you're really going to need now are only going to be some scissors to cut through the fabric, shovel to dig. Hand shovel works good as long as it's like metal, and then some potting soil. You're going to want some potting soil just ready on hand, because you're going to mix it in with the regular soil for some soil amending. That's going to really help the plant take off and get established in our area, especially since where I live in South Texas, a lot of our soils can be clayey or very sandy. They don't have a lot of nutrients for non-native plants. We're going to start with something simple. This is a garden mum, yellow garden mum. So one of the first important things to do is look at how it grows. It says it needs 6+ hours of sun, moderately moist soil. Now it also will grow 12 to 14 inches tall, 14 to 16 inches wide. So about 1 foot by 1 foot average. So that's not really a lot. It's probably going to be the size from the bottom of the pot to the top of the pot and sideways once it's planted. Now it blooms in late summer to fall, hardy to 20 degrees. This is where I placed the mum. It's just in a small area. Now this little garden is very tiny. We are going to do the plantings in the center with a little bit of an angle. It's not going to be a straight line with the house. It's not going to be parallel. It's just going to be its own little wacky thing. But that's the best part, because in the wild you don't find perfectly planted plants and gardens. Everything just grows, in its own organic way, if you will. All right, we have a place for the mum. We are ready to begin. So what I usually do is I will just start like carving out a round just to find a circumference of the pot. I'm just going to do that. Remove it, set it aside. We want to get an area that's bigger, wider, I guess you could say, in diameter than the actual size of the pot, because we are going to be digging up some soil and we're going to need some room so it doesn't mix with the mulch too much. So you put the pot back. Cool. It's about twice the diameter of the pot. Put the plant right back in the center. I'll get the scissors and I'm going to poke holes in squares. So it's going to be like that. And then the other 2, you just kind of wing it. You can do 3. Now, after doing so, you are going to see that, you know what? We could use a little more space. So let's just push all this mulch back just a little bit. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to find the holes. You're going to cut diagonally. So one like that. Then the other one's going to break like that. You find the third one, or the last one, I should say. Meet it in the center. Now that you have that done, what I do is I just fold the ends inwards. Now, I know a lot of people will tell you, or like the packaging for the fabric will say to leave the X's out, to plant the plant and let the pieces go up. I don't like that. It pokes through the mulch. I'd rather just do this. So then you have a square. Pot fits inside, some wiggle room. Awesome. You are finally ready to start digging. The first thing you want to do when you're actually going to dig is test the soil. Now, you're just going to want to dig in a bit. See, this soil is already resistant to being dug, and that's because it's already wet. Now, you can see here that this is clay. This is almost like pure clay soil, but this is just for observation. This is yucky soil. This soil will make it hard for the roots of the plant to grow, because during the summer, this soil will basically turn into a brick. Try digging on dry clay in the summer. It's like trying to dig through a brick. So when that happens, it restrains the roots of the plant. They can't absorb nutrients. It just stays really dry. It's not good for the plants at all. So now you're going to get the plant. You're going to want to put your hand like through the center or to the top, whatever you think is best. Remove the pot. You can just set the pot aside. You want to remove the tag that it came with because we're going to use this later to put with the plant. This is where you're going to put all the soil that you're digging up from that hole. It's going to be very important to keep it separate because if it mixes in with the mulch, you're going to get weeds. The whole point of putting the fabric in the mulch was to prevent weeds. So keep this. You're literally just going to take it from the ground, put it in the pot. You want to get maybe to a digging depth of half of the depth of the pot. Another reason we have this pot, you can check. All right, you have your finger checking it. Perfect. That is about half. A little bit more, a little bit less. Isn't going to do much. It's not going to hurt anything. Set aside. Let's bring in the potting soil. Mix in maybe 1/4. You do want to leave some space because we're still going to remove some of the soil, and we have to mix in the soil that's with the root ball of the plant. We are going to get some of this potting soil and we're going to knock it off like that. We're going to mix. You will notice that you are still getting some clay from the bottom, but you're mixing it in with this potting soil. Before we start digging this out, we have all this ugly clay. Let's do a comparison. You squeeze this, very hard to break apart. You get some of the mixture, you squeeze it. Look at that. Look at that. That is a big difference. Now we're gonna get this, dump it. You want to set this kind of close, and you're going to be digging all this good soil into the pot. Once that is done, we want to test again. How far deep does this pot go? That's basically soil level in a way, so we can remove that. We're going to get our plant, put it along the edge, test it. You can see where it needs maybe a little bit more digging, but we're almost there. Now what we want to do is get our plant. We want to start removing some of the soil, just a little bit, because you don't want to baby the plant when it's in the ground. Once you're just about done removing a lot of the excess soil, you can just give it a little shake. Let whatever's going to fall off. You're good. You're ready to go. Get your shovel. We're going to mix in more. You just want to keep on going. You're going to scrape out some of the regular dirt, put it on top, mix it in together. Now, as you can see, the potting ground soil, native soil mixture that we have is already filled up the pot. And then we have a lot of this plant potting soil, native soil mixture that we still have in the ground. We want to bring out some of this mixture, not all of it, only some, because of the fact that we reduced the amount of potting mix with the roots that we're going to put in the ground. And we're going to test again. Put that in there. It could be a little bit higher. So we're going to put some of this in there. And again, I want to make sure that's good. That is a lot better. One of the tips that I use is getting the tag of the plant and putting it on the fabric. You can see where it touches the top of the potting soil that's attached to the plant. That's ideally what you want. Once we have this, the next step is just to push all the soil in. Now, I make it a habit to dig down with my fingers around the edges because that's what needs to go in first. Get some of the other mixture with your own bought plant or ground soil. We're going to mix this in. You want to put it all around the edges. Chances are you will need to use all of it. You can even sprinkle some on top. You're going to see that it's like spilling out. That is fine. Remember, we need to compact it back in. If you'd like, you can always get some potting soil. Just drizzle it on top. I do that just in case it's missing soil in some areas. When you water it, it will go down. Since this is a garden that's facing the driveway, I'm going to put the sticker like this. Get the tag, fold it in half, make a crease. Sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't work. Just going to put that like that. It's time to put it back. The mulch that has some dirt in, you want to push to the center first. That way weeds will not get it. Mulch is very beneficial. It keeps the soil moist, keeps the roots cooler, especially during the summer temperatures when plants get very stressed. So it overall helps the plant. Plus, it keeps weeds from growing. If this is the only plant that you're planting, we'll water it. Just a bit. Watering is very important to do because it's going to help the soils mix together, and you're done. We have successfully planted a yellow mum. What you can do, a little hack that a lot of people know of, is you see a spent flower, remove it. You see old flowers, remove them. You get the scissors, clip them too. That's going to let a lot of new flowers bud out. There are a lot of buds in here that are just waiting to bud out. You can cut this whole plant off and it will regrow, and it will do that every year. If we ever get a freeze, top will die, roots will stay alive, it'll send up new growth. And that's it, guys. We are done. Thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe, like, and follow me.